You know how people say that watching TV can dull your brain? In this movie, the TV dulls the brains of this family so much that it starts manipulating them. Welcome back, guys. It's Motion Recaps again. And today, we're covering the 2018 mystery thriller, Await Further Instructions. Spoilers ahead. Let's begin. A young man named Nick comes back home with his girlfriend Angie to celebrate Christmas with his family. Soon enough, his sister Kate and her husband Scott also show up, and they prepare everything for Christmas. However, a fight between Angie and Kate escalates so much that the young couple decides to leave in the morning. They discover that they're unable to do so because the whole house is sealed with a black substance. They are entrapped. Suddenly, they get a message on their TV to stay indoors and to wait for further instructions. They keep getting more and more instructions, and each one is more shocking than the previous ones. Ooh, this sounds intriguing, doesn't it? Let me give you a set of instructions right now. Quite simple. Simply subscribe to this channel, like this video, and hit that bell icon to be notified of when we have another movie recap ready for you to enjoy. Got it done? Great. Let's get it on. Await further instructions. The movie starts with Nick and Angie sitting in their car in front of Nick's house. Nick hasn't been home for 3 years, and he didn't have any contact with his family because of some problem with his dad. However, Angie persuades him to visit his parents for Christmas. They ring the doorbell, and Nick's mother, Beth, opens the door. She's really happy to see her son after all this time. She's friendly to Angie. However, the couple soon taste bitterness when they see Nick's granddad, who is not happy at all because his grandson is back. Then, Nick's serious father, Tony, shows up, and he immediately starts implying how Nick didn't call him for 3 years. The situation almost gets out of control, but poor Beth calms it down. After that, Nick's pregnant sister, Kate, and her husband, Scott, arrive at their house. The family is now all gathered together. Angie, Beth, and Kate start playing a word game when suddenly they hear the news about recent stabbings in the city coming from the TV, and they go to see what happened. Granddad immediately blames immigrants and minorities, saying that England wasn't a perfect state until all the immigrants came. That offends Angie, and she tells the old man that he's wrong. Kate verbally attacks her. The situation escalates. Nick insults Kate and tells her to shut up. Tony and Scott are shocked. Nick just takes Angie upstairs. Beth tries to apologize to Nick, and he tells her that it isn't her fault. Nick tells Angie that they'll wake up earlier than the others to sneak out of the house. The couple goes to sleep in separate bedrooms to avoid any further conflict with the conservative house members. They get up early in the morning and head out of the front door, but they cannot open it because there's some kind of strange barrier. Nick examines it, and then he takes an axe to check if he could break it. He tries to do so, but to no avail. They go to check the windows, and they see that they're barricaded too. Nick and the others manage to find a few pipes coming out of the weird walls. Tony wakes up all grumpy. Nick tells him what happened, and Tony gets everyone into the living room. They see a message on the TV that says that they need to stay indoors and wait for further instructions. Tony assumes that it's an emergency broadcast from the government because something is happening outside. They check the internet and the mobile network, and they're down. Tony secretly asks Scott if he can count on him because the two of them need to protect the family, and Scott replies that he's with him. Everyone goes to eat, and Angie coughs a little. Kate and Granddad immediately assume that she's infected with something, and they argue until Tony orders everyone to shut up. He gets ready to carve the turkey, but a message on the TV appears informing them that all the food is poisoned and they mustn't eat anything. Nick tries to stop Tony, but Scott interferes. The family goes back into the living room. The TV displays a message that they need to wash themselves with bleach in order to decontaminate. Everyone goes into their room to wash themselves, and Beth hears Nick and Angie having fun. Then she goes to her bedroom, and she tries to have some fun with Tony, but he tells her that this is not a game and that she needs to be serious. That breaks Beth's heart. After a while, everyone is back in the living room. Tony tells Nick that he was maybe too hard on him, and in return, Nick and Angie apologize for the problems. Suddenly, a bag of syringes falls from the fireplace, and a message on the TV appears that they have to vaccinate themselves because the air is polluted. Nick tells Tony that this is too much, and that they don't know who's behind all of this. However, Tony is sure that it's the government and that they need to follow what they say. Angie tells him that the syringes are used because they're open, which means that there's a high chance that they're infected as well. Also, they don't know what's inside of them. Tony doesn't want to listen to her, and he immediately gives himself a shot. Everyone else is not so sure about taking the vaccine, so Tony then boils the syringes to sterilize them rather than using alcohol, which risks damaging the medicine if there is any. Everyone then takes the vaccine besides Nick and Angie, but in the end, they do it too. Suddenly, the granddad starts to act all funny, and he dies. The family panics, thinking that it's from the vaccine. But Tony and Kate start assuring the others that the granddad died because of an allergic reaction. They cover the body, and then they take it to another room. A message on the TV appears with an instruction to return the medical apparatus. Tony orders Scott to do it, and Scott the sheep takes the syringes and returns them through a hole that appears in this weird wall. Scott gets a funny idea to put his hand into the hole, and a message on the TV appears, informing them that the access slot is now contaminated. Scott loses 3 of his fingers. To his luck, Angie sutures his wounds. Nick falls asleep, and he dreams about the recent events. Tony wakes him up and tells him to go downstairs. There, Nick sees a new message on the TV that says someone is contaminated and that the others need to isolate that person. Everyone immediately assumes it's Angie because she coughed earlier. Nick tries to defend her, but Angie tells him that there's no use because they're outnumbered. She ends up locked together with a granddad's dead body. Nick is outside Angie's room, and the two of them talk. Angie tells Nick that he needs to try and turn off the TV to see what happens. Nick reminds Angie how strong Tony believes that the broadcast is emitted by the government, but Angie encourages him to try and turn it off. Nick decides to try it and see what happens. He gets downstairs and meets Kate, who's on her way to the bathroom. They chat a little, and she even lets Nick feel her baby's moves. She leaves, and Nick uses the chance to turn off the TV. Suddenly, Kate magically appears even though the bathroom is upstairs, and she gets upset when she sees that the TV is off. She calls Tony, who immediately comes in and turns the TV back on. A bunch of symbols appear on the screen before a red message shows up, informing them that interrupting the emergency signal puts lives at risk. Kate attacks Nick, and he pushes her back. Then Scott interferes, and they start fighting. The whole situation escalates when Scott throws Nick at Kate, and he pushes her. She falls so hard that she breaks her leg. Everyone rushes to help Kate. Scott is just standing there frozen. Once he sees a message, "I see you," on the TV, he comes back to his senses. Nick and Tony put injured Kate on the kitchen table, and the pain knocks her out. Nick is trying to help his sister, when Tony cowardly announces that he'll go to his room since he has some work to do, and he leaves. Nick then goes in front of the room where Angie is, and he describes the state of Kate's wound to her. Angie tells him that the wound is infected, and if she doesn't get the medical treatment she needs, she will die. Nick informs Scott about Kate's wound, and he replies that they need to try and escape in order to save Kate. Scott tells Nick that he can count on him, and then he talks about his and Kate's future baby and how they plan to name him Lewis if it's a boy or Ruby if it's a girl. Nick goes to the bathroom to refresh himself. Suddenly, he sees a toilet pipe and gets an idea. He makes a hole in the wall, and there he puts his phone and an improvised selfie stick to try to see what's outside. A loud noise wakes Scott up, and he sees a warning on the TV that says exfiltration is in progress. Tony shows up and orders Scott to come with him. Scott says that he won't because Tony abandoned Kate, but Tony manages to manipulate him, and Scott the sheep comes with him. Nick is watching the footage he took with his phone, and he is shocked when he sees that something that looks like a bunch of snakes attack the phone. Tony and Scott then show up. They attack Nick and restrain him. Nick tells Tony to watch the video he took, but Tony breaks Nick's phone. Then, he orders Scott to check if there's a message on the TV, and Scott returns with the news that the command is to extract the information from the sleeper agent. Tony immediately assumes what the message meant and starts torturing his own son. However, he stops when he hears Beth screaming. He and Scott go downstairs only to find Kate dead. Tony acts cold-blooded as he tells everyone that there are always casualties in war. Beth slaps him out of rage, and then she goes to untie Nick. After they put him on the couch, Beth goes into the bathroom to grieve in solitude. At that time, Angie finds a small TV which displays the message, "I see you." She opens the TV, only to find a black throbbing heart inside of it. Then we see a message that security is breached. Black smoke starts emerging from the pipes in the weird walls. A loud alarm starts beeping, and it wakes Nick up. He sees a message on the TV that all survivors must return to the ground level. Nick and Scott try to save Angie while Tony is standing completely frozen. Scott manages to find the keys in the kitchen. He gives them to Nick, who unlocks the door of Angie's room. However, it's too late for Beth, and she dies. The survivors then barricade themselves in the living room. Angie informs Nick about her findings on the TV. Suddenly, the TV starts emitting messages in which the sender implies that he's a god. Tony asks for a sign, and then the baby in Kate's stomach gets revived. The names Lewis and Ruby start showing up on the TV. Scott and Tony are assured that a god is behind this. The next message tells them that they need to sacrifice someone to save the baby, and they decide that Angie will be the sacrificial lamb. However, she tells Tony that only she can perform a C-section and save the baby. Tony lets her go and then attacks Nick. Angie tells Scott to help Nick. He listens to her, but Tony kills him with an axe. Nick then attacks Tony, and after a lot of fighting, he manages to overpower him thanks to Angie's help. Nick drops the TV on Tony to make sure that he won't ever get up again. Suddenly, cables start emerging from the TV and windows. That's what Nick caught on camera. The cables then possess Tony. The cable creature then speaks through Tony, asking Nick and Angie to worship it. And Nick figures out that it won't kill them, because it's a parasite that needs them to stay alive. Nick destroys the thing inside of the TV. It explodes and the creature dies. Nick and Angie are happy that they're alive, but they get surprised when it turns out that the creature is also still alive. It kills them, and then brings a little TV in front of Kate's dead body. The cables melt Kate's flesh until only bones remain. We see that the baby is still alive. The TV turns on and displays the messages, "Hello, Ruby," and "Worship me," while bright colors play in the background. The movie ends with a view of the neighborhood, and we find out that every house is attacked by these creatures. I think I just found my new favorite Christmas movie. What do you guys think? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. Now before we go, be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit that bell icon to be notified of when we have another movie recap ready for you to enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.